Okay, question. This is a question I get all the time. Mom and dad, about age 70. Mom's doing fine. Dad's declining. They got a house and they got about 750,000 in assets, 401ks, IRAs. They come to me and they say, what do we do? I have some very specific ideas about that. But my first thing is, Melanie, what kind of care are you getting? So what would you tell them?
Yeah,
what are their options?
I would kind of want to take stock of their relational equity. Who's there? Who are the players in their care? What can they provide?
Yeah.
Do we want to stay at home? What is the cost difference between the two? Which I would want to be asking Tim, what he thinks they can afford. But yeah, just looking at what are the benefits of staying home? How can we best utilize the income that they have? And what are the options within that?
So you're laying out options, but those options have price tags. That's when we have to talk to Tim and Alex, right?
Yeah. And I mean, to weigh in, I think another question is that, are we only looking at assets? Do we have any defense or protection? Is there life insurance involved? Because if we can potentially refill a bucket, we might be looking at the assets that are on the table a little bit differently than we would be if there wasn't any protection at all. So meaning, life insurance available.
Gotcha.
That's a great point, Alex. And I think when we get the short-term question of, we need to fill this bucket, mom needs this care, but dad has to live past mom's life expectancy. The reality is the taxes due on taking a distribution, especially in a large amount, which most care facilities are very expensive.
Yeah.
How will that leave the partner? Like, what can we do? And Alex's point of life insurance is a big completion, but that's really a fascinating kind of scenario to have to walk through.
And I think that's why you want to have somebody that knows the aging world to explain, like, do we want to be in a community where there's a buy-in, where we have a continuum of care? Do we want just a standalone facility where we're paying monthly? What are our options if we do that at home? When do we tap into our long-term care insurance? All of those things. And we have to kind of look at those scenarios and see which one we think fits the family best. So there's not really just one answer, but I think as a team, we can figure out the best answer for them.
It sounds like all roads lead to, well, what do you got? What do you got to pay for this, right?
Right.
And that's why why Tim and Alex are so important to this. The great news is we all have solutions here. I can tell you that if you get that phone call, and it's usually big sister or big brother that's checking out on mom and dad, and finally they're able to address this issue. But the good news is that profile, mom gets to keep the house. The investments, almost all of them can be protected with a good elder care plan and with perfectly tailored health outcomes and options by Melanie and financial solutions by Alex and Tim. We'll have it tweaked perfectly for your scenario, and you'll be able to live life better on your terms, and all the stress is going to be lifted.
Well, and I'll add to that, the conflict comes into the equation with children who love mom and dad, but just feel so guilty or feel like they're not part of the conversation. Maybe that can be taken outside of the equation so that everybody wins.
Right.
Yeah, and talking that through so that we can get a solution that feels good to everybody, hopefully.
Yeah, I think that would be really a powerful and unique dynamic to have.
I don't think we can get there though unless we start the conversation early on and not in the 10th hour of whatever the thing is that's going on. So I think the sooner that you can start with any of this and have that in place, the sooner everyone's more comfortable and we're doing what's right for mom or dad or whoever that family member is, grandpa and grandma.
All right.
So how soon is too soon, Melanie, in your experience?
It's never too soon to be planning ahead. I don't think it's much easier to have those conversations when you're not in crisis. And that's the biggest thing I would say. Any conversation that we have when you're not in crisis is easier and informs what you really want to have happen when you are in crisis. One of my big questions that I get a lot, Martin, is, well, we take a look at people's legal documents and see if they need to update them. Typically when we come in, if they, everyone's had an attorney write their stuff up. But how often do you say they should be reviewed? That kind of thing, because many people did this 20 years ago and that attorney is retired. So what's kind of your feeling on that?
If if your life issues are identical in the middle of your life as the end of your life, then you don't need no change, but they're not. So the needs that you have towards the last chapters of life are a lot different than the middle part. You're not worried about young kids. You're not worried about dementia or declining health in the middle of life, but at the end of life you are. And so if you want to live life on your terms, you get those updated and reviewed. If you forget everything I say, get a really good power of attorney so that the recommendations that Melanie, Tim, and Alex make to you, you can carry them out. If you don't have that, then you might be handcuffed.
Mhm.
That's figuratively, not legally.
I love it. Well, there's a lot more questions to come. We welcome you to ask us anything. And we're going to reconvene on June 9th for kind of a live event. Patricia Hughes is a brilliant strategist. She brought us all here together. We thank you for that. And we look forward to any questions that you want to put out there. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks. And yeah, be sure to ask any questions you have online. Just post below. Thanks.
Awesome.